And sometimes my clients would say, 傻逼, idiot, 王八蛋, bastard, or 去你的吧, like fuck you, or 屁的, 那都是狗屁, it's all bullshit, or something like that. So I've been an interpreter for years, working both in China and the US, and I've translated for all sorts of clients, everything from international conferences to factory tours. I even worked for a former UN dog trainer. That was a fun experience. At that time, I was super scared of dogs. Back in China, we usually kept things very polite and professional, but when I moved to the US, I quickly realized the variety of clients here is much broader, and that includes some very interesting and sometimes even colorful language. I've pretty much seen it all, from 911 calls to immigration offices, hospitals, schools and banks, insurance companies. And let me tell you, a lot of people are upset. For example, on a 911 call, talking to a teacher, speaking with an insurance agent. And most of the time, they feel like they're not getting fair treatment. And that's when emotions and curse words just tend to fly. And how do we handle them as interpreters? Should we interpret them exactly? What if it makes us or the listeners uncomfortable? So first, let's talk about the role of an interpreter. We are conduits. Our job is to faithfully convey everything the speaker says without adding, omitting, or distorting the message. Just think of us as like a phone line. That's an old term. We transmit whatever comes through, even if it's not something we'd normally say ourselves. And this includes swear words, insults, and accusations or hallucinations from patients. And some people believe the 10% rule, softening the language just a little bit, especially if it's in a formal situation. And others, like me, stick to 100% accuracy, or we try to, at least 98%, meaning we translate everything, including the swearing. Why? Because if the speaker is angry or emotional, their choice of words and tone are essential to conveying their intent. Because we were trained this way, and it's not just a personal preference. Our code of ethics emphasizes full accuracy, and we have to go through constant training and evaluations to ensure that we stick to these standards. Basically, we're constantly reminded of this. And in fact, we have to take tests or be monitored from time to time to ensure that we're following these rules. Micromanagement. And here's an example. Once I was interpreting in a medical setting and the patient became super frustrated, they yelled at the nurse, said,
去你妈的，你从来不听我讲话。
My job, interpret that exactly. No matter how awkward it feels. I can't say, F you, you never listen to me. And I can't be super calm like, I don't care, like, fuck you, you never listen to me, like that. The key here isn't to stay neutral, but to keep the register. Match the speaker's tone, whether it's formal or informal. If the speaker is angry and using strong language, and that needs to come across in my interpretation too. Like for a bank call, a customer turned to me saying, Hey, 我不会骂人，你帮我骂他。Huh? Of course, I didn't end up cursing for her, but I did have to stay professional and interpret her request. This is the interpreter. Hey, the customer said, Hey, I don't know how to curse. Can you curse him out for me? I had another client angrily accuse the government official from the unemployment department. They said something like,
小偷，你抢了我的钱，塞自己的荷包里去了。
Like something like, thief, you stole my money and stuffed it into your own pocket. And after he said that, you could feel the tension in the air. The government official responded, Sir, if you don't stop, I'm going to have to hang up on you. And the client did not stop. So she hung up on him. But I was still on the line because that was like a third-party call. At that moment, since I was no longer interpreting, I could step out of my conduit role and be a little bit more flexible. So I said, I'm sorry you had to go through that. I hope you have a better shift after this. She sighed, laughed a little bit, and replied, It happens. I just don't let it get to me. Oh, I really like that attitude. I basically work in a customer service role as an interpreter, and I receive a lot of negativity every day. So I thought to myself, I should really learn from her. Before I continue, I want to let you know about an exciting opportunity. I'm hosting an English speaking training camp. The course includes pre-recorded lessons, daily speaking practice check-ins, one-on-one corrections, and small group lessons on the weekend. Let's get back to the topic. Sometimes the client might use so much profanity that I feel the need to check in with the native speaker. I'd say something like, hey, he or she cursed at you a lot. Would you like to hear all of it? This way, I make sure they're aware of what's being said while also respecting their preference for how much they want to hear. Because if they're speaking English real time, they could interrupt each other instead of just sitting there waiting for my interpretation and have to listen to all of it, right? They could interrupt each other, argue back, or shut down the conversation immediately. So if you want to make our job a little easier, please try not to swear. Let's all speak politely.
No more saying cuss words. It is not good.
If you really can't hold it in, maybe wait until the interpreter isn't around. Because by the time I'm done translating, your anger might already be gone and you might even regret it, right? So, 三思, think twice before swearing. Thank you for watching. This is the first time I've ever made a long video about my life story, about my work. So let me know if you like this kind of content. There's still a lot of stories to tell. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback. And don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you're interested in English learning or interpreting stories or teaching stories. See you next time.